Before I even really get into this, let me just say y'all have been getting spoiled with these Operation Protect the White Boys / white women for a while now. I'm gonna be honest, I think I've done more of these in the last month than I've done Triple P's in the last 2 months. But it is what it is. Y'all send me these stories and I try my best to get them out to you in a timely fashion and whenever I have time to actually record them. So we have another Operation Protect the White Boy story for y'all, and this kind of reminds me slightly of Ethan Couch, and when you hear the details of it, you'll understand what I mean. So in this picture, you see an individual by the name of Fraser Bohm, and he was charged with murder after he ran over 4 sorority sisters from Pepperdine University, and he was released after his bail was slashed to $4 million. So I'm assuming his bail was more than $4 million, and they moved it down to 4. I keep telling you, it's certain crimes that are committed that people should not be able to get out of jail from, or there should be no bond attached to it. And while we're on the topic of the bond, the fact that his bond was slashed to $4 million, which of course at 10% is $400,000, or his bail rather, this lets me know that he most likely comes from money, because who just has $400,000 just willingly lying around somewhere to put on just one person after they did what they did? So I believe he definitely comes from money for sure. And when they say Pepperdine, definitely. Now I don't know if he went to Pepperdine, but Pepperdine as a school is, you know, one of those top schools out there that costs a lot of money to go to. But let's go ahead and get into the story. The BMW driver charged with murdering 4 Pepperdine University sorority sisters who were mowed down at over 100 miles per hour. So you know this person was driving fast, because as you know, there is no marker that says 100 miles an hour. In Malibu has been released again, this time after his bail was halved to $4 million. So look at that, it says again. So he was in jail once and then he got out, and then they put him back in, and then he got released again. Whoever his parents or guardians are got money, and they said it was slashed in half, so it was $8 million first, but it got slashed to $4 million, and he was still able to get out. Fraser Bohm, who was pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of murder in the deaths of seniors Peyton Stewart, Naeem Ralston, Asha Ware, and Deslin William, was released about 8:30 p.m. on Friday, and he says he's pleading not guilty, even though he's guilty as all sin. He was initially charged with gross vehicular manslaughter and released while investigators gathered additional evidence, including a toxicology report, speed analysis, and execution of search warrants after the deadly October 17th crash. The 22-year-old was later rearrested on the murder charges with Los Angeles County DA George Gasson, saying he deliberately acted with conscious disregard for human life. Bohm's bail was initially set at $8 million, but Judge Eric Harmon slashed it by half to $4 million. Defense attorney Michael Kraut asked the judge to reduce the bail to $400,000, arguing that his client was a victim of road rage. What? Tell me I did not just hear that. You said your client was a victim of road rage, but he ran over 4 women. Well, who's the victim here? I count 4 victims and he's not one of them. See, this is exactly why I do these Operation Protect the White Boys stories, whether it's the men or the women, because you have PC out there that really believe that white privilege is not a thing, whether they have the means to actually be financially privileged, or they're just privileged by default based on their whiteness. What is it that Tariq always says? You may not have $1 million in the bank, but you got $1 million worth of whiteness, or something along those lines. Well, it sounds like to me he hit the daily double of having the whiteness in skin tone and skin color and in the bank. Now, if you notice, with the picture that I put up of the 4 women, you know it's the 3 PC and 1 black. Sort of like how it was with Ethan Couch, you know, it's kind of a mixed bag. And what happened with him? Came from a family of those who had money, and he was 13 years old, and they tried to say it was affluenza, but he knew enough at the age of 13 to know how to drink or know when to steal liquor from the liquor cabinet and then steal his parents' vehicle and then go joyriding and run over 3 people, killing them. Or was it 4? I forget. Either way, it was 3 to 4 casualties. Let me continue. On Wednesday, Gasson told reporters that Bohm was allegedly speeding at speeds of 104 miles an hour in a 45-mile-hour zone when he lost control of his BMW. He was going more than double. He was going more than double the speed zone. Explaining that the murder charges were lodged because of the speed, the reckless disregard for the safety of others. Authorities said Bohm swerved onto the north shoulder of the westbound Pacific Coast Highway and slammed into at least 3 parked vehicles. The parked vehicle struck the 4 students who were standing or walking nearby. Wow, so it was a chain reaction. That's crazy. It kind of reminds you of a Final Destination sequence right there. How he was going that fast that he hit 3 parked vehicles, and one of them got struck so hard that it knocked it out of its parking space and hit all 4 of these women who were walking. Just walking, minding their business. Who knows where they were going? That's besides the point. But none of them were expecting for a car that it's parked to just move out of its parking spot and just like smack them out the way. That's insane. That's what many would call a freak accident. Kraut claimed there was no evidence to support the DA's claim that Bohm was speeding at 104 miles an hour. He used numbers like my client was at 104 miles per hour at the time of the crash. The evidence clearly shows that didn't happen, Kraut told reporters Thursday. The lawyer said the maximum speed at the time of the crash was 70 miles based on the witness statements, his client's statement in the black box inside of the BMW, according to CBS News. Had they done their job, which is to listen to their witnesses and test their credibility before running out and filing murder charges on a 22-year-old with a 0 record, 0 points, and no speeding tickets, and somebody who's been totally law-abiding, we wouldn't be here with murder charges. There'd be somebody else standing there, Kraut said. His lawyer is pissing me off. It goes on further to say my client was picking up tacos for a friend. There was no drugs, no alcohol, nothing that he had consumed, no smoking of marijuana. He picked up the tacos and was headed north, he added. But the thing is, that's all good and well for your client, but how do you explain how a parked car that he hit swerved out of the parking spot that it was in and knocked out and eliminated 4 women? Explain that. Notice the attorney is not bringing that up. He's doing everything that he can to duck and dodge around the obvious, is that these 4 women are dead because of his reckless driving. Let's hypothetically say he wasn't going 104 miles an hour. He was going fast enough to hit a car out of its parking spot and kill 4 women because of a chain reaction that he caused. Sheriff's Department spokesman Sergeant Jim Aarons said he had no evidence that the crash was the result of an alleged road rage incident as claimed by the charged driver's attorney. Bohm could face multiple life sentences if convicted on the murder charges, according to the district attorney's office. They need to get him. I don't care what his attorney says. At the end of the day, these 4 women are dead because of his recklessness. They're going off of, they're lying saying he wasn't speeding that fast. You know, why are they lying saying he was driving this fast? Okay, fine, whatever. But like I said, at the end of the day, his reckless driving caused them to be deceased. He hit a parked car, and hypothetically speaking, luckily, in hindsight, I meant to say, luckily it was nobody in those parked cars that he hit. Then what would his lawyer would have said? Like I said, sometimes these statements these lawyers be making, I know they got to make a claim for their client to quote unquote walk or get off of these charges, but at the same time, some of these lawyers are just straight up trash defending trash. At the end of the day, this is just nothing more than a paycheck for them. But again, notice the lawyer nowhere in any of their statements mentioned about the deaths of these 4 women. It all goes back to, you're lying on my client saying he was driving this fast when he really wasn't driving this fast. At the end of the day, he was still driving pretty fast. He was still going above the speed limit because the speed limit was 45. So whether he was going 104 or 70, he was still over the speed limit. Explain that. Where I'm from, if you go over the speed limit and get caught, you will get a speeding ticket at the very least, as long as there's no casualties. Unfortunately, with his situation, a speeding ticket is the very least of his worries, because the 4 women are dead because of his reckless driving. But when you hear some of these lawyers say stuff like that, that just shows you right there, they're, like I said, they're just as trash as the clients that they choose to represent.